Welcome to Shaq's house. Shaq's house. That's our Shaq. You're now in Shaq's house. That's our Shaq. Welcome to Shaq's house.
What's up, Shaq Housers? Once again, it's your boy Shaq House here. It occurred to me a while back that when I did videos for Forge, right here, Forge, Madison Jeffries, and Wiz Kid, I talked about the differences between their powers and often regurgitated a lot of the same information between videos. But one thing I never talked about was the one time that Forge and Madison Jeffries teamed up and combined powers. Yeah, it's rarely ever discussed or even brought up in comparisons between the two, and because of my neglect in mentioning it in the 3 videos, I'm rectifying that situation right now. Here's what happens when Madison Jeffries and Forge combine powers. Check it out. Haha.
Okay, before we discuss Forge and Madison, I need to say this first. The concept of mutants combining powers for new effects is not a new concept. I mean, granted, it's been shown sporadically throughout the years, but it has happened. For example, right here, you see Gambit and Bishop combining their energy powers to stop a speeding train going at over 100 miles per hour. And right here, during the Phalanx Covenant crossover, you see Psylocke, Jean Grey, and Cable using their combined telepathy to destroy the psychic network that kept all the Earth Phalanx connected. And right here, during the Executioner's song between Iceman and Storm, with Storm creating a heavy air moisture for Bobby to create a thick shield of ice. And during the Krakoan era, this concept was given a name, Mutant Synergy, and it was explored in several issues of the New Mutants, such as these right here. Now, the team-up of Forge and Madison Jeffries occurred during several issues of Alpha Flight during the 4-part Building Blocks storyline, in which the Roxxon Oil Company's corporate building in Denver had been overtaken by one of their mechanical experiments, a being that could control all manner of technology and could access computer systems worldwide. It was causing machinery to come to life and attack the facility employees. At first, Roxxon used their own employee, Windshear, to deal with the problem, and later, Madison Jeffries. Now, Madison, with his Bochs armor and technoforming power, was an ideal specialist to call in for the situation, but he proved to be ineffective against his attacker. His foe moved too fast, and Madison could not adapt his Bochs armor in real time to counter it. He realized that he needed someone who could reconfigure his Bochs armor with the speed of thought. So Alpha Flight flew to Muir Island, where they recruited the mutant machine smith, Forge. They returned to Denver just in time to witness the entire facility explode outwards from the core. This blast exposed a problem at the center, James McDonald Hudson. You see, Roxxon had kept Hudson captive for 2 years to exploit his cybernetic mind for their benefit, and the mechanical difficulties that they were experiencing were because the cybernetic portion of Hudson's mind was working to free him from captivity. At first, they used Windshear and later Madison to resolve the problem internally, but when it became clear that the chances of hiding Hudson's presence were dropping fast, Roxxon tried to turn off Hudson's life support. This caused Hudson's mechanical system to strike back in self-defense, turning the whole facility into a massive crater and revealing Hudson at its core. This is when Bochs and Forge combined powers, but first, here's a very brief description of their abilities. Forge's mutant power allows him to intuitively understand mechanical systems, which enables him to operate any machine on site and repair any glitches or damage in the design. But the primary use of his power is invention, the ability to rapidly conceptualize of new forms of technology and then build them at an incredible pace using whatever materials are available around him. He's sort of like those master builders from the Lego movie from 2014, like so. Madison Jeffries' mutant power allows him to alter materials made of plastic, metal, and glass, levitate them in place, or reform their shape and construction to create any structure or device that he can imagine. His power also comes with a mind tap ability that is capable of drawing upon the minds of others to use their knowledge as a blueprint for his power. He uses the living metal Bochs armor for enhanced strength, reflexes, durability, sensors, and as a focus for his technomorphing power, allowing him to reform it in a variety of different weapons, forms, and shapes. In an ultra-advanced version of his previous MindTap partnership with Roger Bochs, Madison planned on cybernetically combining Forge's intuitive gift for cognitive invention with his own technoforming Bochs armor to form counterattacks against Hudson with near-computer-like speed. By cybernetically linking himself to Forge and creating an override protocol in his Bochs armor, Madison turned his living robot body into a bodysuit for Forge. The override gave Forge access and functionality through the cybernetic link, so while Jeffries was still the one in control of the interface itself, he set up a custom pathway that let Forge control Bochs' transformations in real time. This allowed Forge to use his invention power to manifest new and more advanced creations out of Bochs instantly, enabling him to counter Hudson as quickly as he attacked them. This combination of powers could have been a variation of the MindTap aspect of Madison's power, or more likely a purely cybernetic interface between Bochs and Forge's own bionic components. Now that detail is actually pretty significant. It shows the level of trust that Madison had in Forge, and it also emphasizes Madison's own brilliance, not just as a technomorph, but as a systems architect, which he later became thanks to his power. He essentially built a modular control system within Bochs that allowed a second operator with the right interface, Forge, to act through it creatively and reactively, but still within boundaries that Madison established. It's a perfect blend of their talents, Madison providing the raw, living medium, and Forge acting as the rapid response creative mind, dreaming up of new forms or tech countermeasures on the fly. It's honestly a super underrated team-up moment. You think with how powerful that synergy was, it would have been explored more down the line. And also, even with Marvel's sliding timeline, both men are veteran soldiers who served the United States Army during the Vietnam War, and both spent time in psychiatric hospitals after the war due to trauma. This detail brings a whole new layer of psychological depth to both characters. The fact that these two characters could find understanding in each other, not just through technology, but shared pain, was a goldmine that Marvel never really tapped into beyond just one issue. Especially given their power upgrades. Madison, during his time with the X-Men, developed a form of machine telepathy that enables him to hear mechanical systems, psychically learning their function, operating status, capabilities, and reading any stored data in their drives. Forge, during the most recent X-Force series, upgraded his power to Omega level, and now he can solve problems with any solution that he can assemble, using people, systems, and variables, not just technology. The team-up wasn't just cool because of the tech interface, but it was two damaged but brilliant minds syncing up in a rare moment of mutual respect and unspoken solidarity. It could have easily formed the basis for a longer-term partnership. Hell, maybe even a mini-series diving into their war histories, their tech philosophies, and the ethical lines that they walk with their powers. And Forge's real name, because I'm still not convinced that Daniel Lone Eagle or Jonathan Silvercloud are his real names at all. In short, this is the difference between Forge and Madison Jeffries. Forge's mutant power is purely cerebral, rapidly conceiving inventions through his mutant mind, but he uses normal human means, i.e. his own two hands, to construct his machines. Now Madison Jeffries, his mutant power is almost purely physical, constructing machines with his power, but relying on a normal accumulation of mechanical skill and knowledge to guide what he creates. Alright folks, I finally made up for that mistake and I hope you've enjoyed it. Next week, I'm going to tell you right now what I'll be doing next week. I'm going to be explaining Layla Miller and how she knows stuff. Tune in then. I hope we have a good one, Shackhousers. Later.
Mansion, apartment.
Shack house. Yes!
Yeah.